Agit Erev Shabbos Kodesh is Friday, Parshas Devurim, Shabbos Chazon, Gimel Av Tov Pai Vov. My name is Gershy Schwarcz, and I'm your host of the news of the last 24 hours. Today is July 17th, 2026. Today's episode is sponsored to you by My HomeFinish, Kosher Skinny Shot, Halo 2 High Functioning Water, and the Business Sync Workshop in Yiddish. Now let me start with the news first, and then we'll do the transition. Okay, I'm going to start something. President Trump revealed controversial intelligence about the country's elections, including Chinese interference, information theft, and non-citizen voting. 7 days of non-stop U.S. bombing in Iran have now killed 38 people and injured 400 others, and climbing. The U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is blaming Israel for the renewed conflict and keeping the war going, and he is spewing certain interesting information that makes conservatives fear that he is going in Bernie Sanders' direction. A Republican? A tech company in San Francisco has announced plans to build an all-American robot, super soldier. Let's see where Elon Musk goes with this. Daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click. So today's episode is sponsored to you by first let's do a Business Sync Workshop. The Business Sync Workshop, you want to unlock new levels of success. If you have to reframe the way you think, the way you work, the way you grow, join this year's Business Sync Workshop, starting the 7th cycle now. Think of it as acquiring the master key for your business. For more information, to sign up, call 718-664-6066 or email info@saggroup.com. That's SAGGgroup.com. I think it's 3 G's in the middle, okay? All right, again, I'll be there because Shmili the Mashkovitz, who is the presenter, is giving you this course. And if you mention on Edge, you will get $500 off the course. 718-664-6066. You know anyone speaks Yiddish, who understands Yiddish even, it might be very beneficial. Again, it's a Yinglish kind of mixture, so you're good if you understand the basic Yiddish, but you want to learn a lot, you want to be able to grow. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be able to help you there. I myself speak in English, so I'm willing to interpret if you have any questions, but not someone who just doesn't speak any Yiddish at all. It's not going to be comfortable for you, but for someone who understands and is comfortable, I think I urge you to do this. It's a very important course. I'm going to be there July 29th. It's going to be Chamashus B'Av, and it's going to be late in the afternoon in Fort Lee, and then they're going to spread it out very evenly, very convenient times for you. I know you're busy. I'm also busy, but I'm taking off time because I know it's valuable. All right, let's continue to the news, shall we? Also, Be'ezer Hashem Yisborach, not Matzah. On Tisha B'Av, this Thursday, Be'ezer Hashem Yisborach, we are going to release a program, a very heartbreaking program, but something very heartbreaking with chizik involved that will simply, change how you think, what your perspective was of all the stories that we've been telling you here, the news, because I wanted to go to the depth of it. So we brought down 2 very big people, Askunim from Israel, down here, and we had a conversation. It was a 2-hour conversation. Now they're speaking Yiddish, but this conversation is so deep. My brothers, you would want to hear this. Believe you me, you would want to hear what exactly is going on there. Now, it is going to be streamed, Shemesh work in Yiddish, like I said. Also, for those who want to hear it on Kol Mevaser, 118 from the main menu of Kol Mevaser, and on Yiddish24.com, and maybe some other place. We'll see. I haven't yet decided where. We're still discussing the details. Some big place where everyone will have access to it. Okay, now we start with a big release of the secret government files straight from the Oval Office. President Trump gave a speech on live television warning about major weak spots in how America runs its elections. This was not just a speech. The president proved his point by ordering the government to release the 4 sets of highly secret documents right away. These newly opened records are all about voting safety. They cover foreign meddling from China, inside state records from Michigan, and also official lists of non-citizens who are registered to vote. Look at the numbers.
As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his re-election. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election.
So you hear it from his own mouth. In other words, documents make a huge claim. They say China illegally took 220 million American voter files and organized theft starting back in 2020. He says even earlier, back in 2018, and midterm elections then. The government is calling this single biggest theft of the election data in the world history. President Trump went a step further. He accused top intelligence leaders of running a secret shadow government built to hide plain FBI facts from the public. To prove it, he pointed to an inside email where a government worker admitted to pulling CIA and NSA reports about China straight out of the president's daily update. Trump claims that this hidden data shows China actively tried to create fake votes for Joe Biden. This goes right against a March 2021 National Intelligence Report that said China did not try to change the election results. But that's not all. The president also pointed to a brand new Homeland Security report. The hard numbers show 278,000 non-citizens are currently registered to vote in federal elections. On top of that, more than 356,000 possible non-citizens were found on active voting lists across California, New Jersey, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Because of this new information, obviously, President Trump is demanding nationwide voter ID laws right away, which is the SAVE Act. This major speech comes right after the president made strong moves earlier this week to shut down a federal election group. He also wanted to fire about 1,100 workers from the National Cybersecurity Agency. Now, a lot of Congresspeople who are involved in this might be in very big trouble if the evidence comes across. 7 straight days of bombing have now resulted in 38 Iranians dead and 400 injured. The numbers are climbing. Those are the latest numbers from Iran's health ministry. And the bombing still continues, with the latest wave finishing last night at around 9:40 p.m. Eastern Time. American warplanes, drones and warships have attacked Iranian air defenses and airports and an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps base in Bushehr. More massive explosions rocked the capital city of Tehran. The American military is directly aiming at Iran's supply lines. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth shared a photo of a ship control tower in Chabahar. He says it was completely destroyed. A separate strike hit a power station on Kish Island, leaving the local area with no power whatsoever. President Donald Trump says the military is seeing major success and expects to expand the strikes. Central Command says that 50,000 American troops in the area are standing ready. To enforce the U.S. naval blockade, American Marines boarded a commercial oil ship. This is the first public marine boarding mission since the war started in February. That brings the total blockade count to three turned away ships, 1 broken ship, bombed ship obviously, and 1 boarded ship. To strike back, to basically answer, Iran launched a massive wave of missiles and drones, or so they say they did, because they make these fancy AI videos sending them out by saying, we did this, we did that. They targeted American military bases across Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, and Iraq. Iran also shot at King Fahd Bridge connecting Saudi Arabia and Bahrain, though traffic is still driving across it. An Iranian military terrorist spokesperson threatened more attacks on places where regular people live and work. Citizens. These strikes come after last month's US-Iran deal, obviously the MOU. All this fell apart. As you can imagine, the deal broke down over fights about who controls the Strait of Hormuz. And this is the end of the story. Now Iran is preparing for a full blown-out war. It just released never-before-seen footage of its top commanders touring massive underground missile sites. Now, if this is true, or if this is not true, nobody knows. Maybe this is very old footage. This video was released after Trump claimed that Iran lost 90% of its weapons due to its continuous strikes. A video shows drones made in the United Arab Emirates hitting the southern Iranian port of Bandar Abbas. They believe the drones were changed into suicide bombs, obviously. The government of Qatar has officially denied reports claiming that they actually agreed to join any military action against Tehran. In Syria, authorities stopped a massive weapons shipment hidden inside an oil tanker near the Iraqi border. Officials found hundreds of drones, rockets and weapons inside the vehicle before it could even move further into Syria. Authorities identified it as a smuggling attempt by Iran's Revolutionary Guard, with the weapons likely meant for Hezbollah terrorists in Lebanon. Now, let me remind you something very important. In Iraq, an Iran-backed terror group announced a $10 million reward to kill President Donald J. Trump. They posted a list of places where they claim the president can be found. And also, because according to reports, they say that the Iranians have advised the Hezbollah proxies, the Houthi proxies, to get ready, that the time of waiting period is over, which means that they probably activated some sort of an alert, an alarm for their sleepy proxies. They're not so sleepy after all. I don't know what's left of them, Hamas and everyone else, to get ready and attack because of a wider scale potential war that is happening. And as well, Pakistan. We'll talk about it soon. Okay, first, let's talk about Halo 2, high functioning water. Okay, the best way to think about your hydration is when you drink. when you drink high-functioning water, let's try and open this bottle of water because it's great water. Because I need to drink something. I don't think you're allowed to make a bracha on air properly because halacha. That's why I made it quiet. This is Halo 2 high-functioning water. It gives me plenty of energy throughout the day. And this is how I continue with my day. Okay, let's continue with the news, shall we? Halo 2 high-functioning water gives me the energy to do. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cancelled his planned trip to Washington, D.C. to meet with President Trump. He was supposed to go for Lindsey Graham's funeral. Netanyahu's office claimed he was traveling for the funeral, but the White House official revealed that Netanyahu had been begging for a meeting for 2 weeks now, and the White House never agreed to it. The fight comes after Netanyahu went on television to criticize Trump's plan to sell F-35 jets to Turkey. This made President very, very angry. Things were already tense after Israel gave a tip claiming an Iranian official wanted to kill Trump in Turkey. Okay, so, sorry, I made a mistake here. Let me start again. It's a report from a left-leaning paper which is obviously spewing some sort of narrative here, but the true source is telling me this. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just postponed his weekend trip to Washington, obviously. His office says that the delay is because the funeral of former Senator Lindsey Graham, the late Senator Lindsey Graham, might I say, was pushed back to the end of the month. That was the plan, really, but that was the reason why Netanyahu originally was supposed to fly on Motzei Shabbos for the funeral and for a meeting with Trump, while the two leaders recently agreed to meet soon, according to U.S. officials, which actually is true, you see. An exact schedule for this weekend obviously wasn't officially locked in by the White House, but it was official. This would have been Netanyahu's first official trip to Washington since the war began with Iran. For now, the flights are on hold. In separate statements, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance was on the Joe Rogan Show. He appeared on the Joe Rogan Show and putting the blame on Israel. And also, he has accused the country of trying to trick the American public to make the war last longer. He claims some Israeli politicians are trying very hard to block peace talks to the MOU to end the fighting. Because of the weak deals made in the first Iran agreement, many Jewish Republicans are turning away from Vice President J.D. Vance. They're shifting the support to Marco Rubio for the 2028 election. American commentator Ben Shapiro summarized Vance's political beliefs. On his podcast, he said, "I tuned into the Joe Rogan Show yesterday and heard Bernie Sanders' economics, Barack Obama's foreign policy, and Ro Khanna's conspiracy theories. And then I realized J.D. Vance was talking. I want a candidate in the 2028 who doesn't mirror the Democrats and who can win." That's what Ben Shapiro said. In Israel, the 25th Knesset closed itself down this morning. Now, this officially sends the country into a new election. Lawmakers passed a party funding bill with 62-0 vote. The bill included a rule to trigger the shutdown, ending what the speaker called the hardest Knesset in Israel's history. This break comes after they passed a major media law. The law passed 53-48, gives government a lot of control over the television and radio, and it gives special help to pro-government Channel 14. The communication minister openly thanked Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for pushing the change. However, critics say his help breaks the rules against using his power for himself. The battle over Gershy Schwarcz is obviously escalating rapidly across Israel. The Israeli military detained a Haredi girl at the Tal HaShomer recruitment office, claiming her exemption paperwork was processed improperly. In response, the Eda Haredis issued a strict warning, threatening mass protests across the country if the girl is not released immediately. Meanwhile, nearly 5,000 Sons of Chassidim held a massive nighttime protest outside the military prison 10 in Kfar Yona, led by the Sons of Rebbe Shlita, to condemn the arrests of the Yeshiva Bochurim and Yeshiva Bocher Nigeman. During the related protests, Haredi demonstrators blocked roads, disrupted public transit, and clashed with locals in central Israel, with police arresting 2 people. The enlistment crisis is causing major political fallouts, with Likud Knesset members resigning from the party, and also the Aliyah minister of his Sofer is also announcing his resignation. He will not run again. Despite this draft threat, yeshiva summer camps are proceeding for Bein Hazmanim after organizers consulted with the Gedolim. Hold on a second. So despite the draft threat, the Gershy Schwarcz, yeshiva summer camps are proceeding for Bein Hazmanim after organizers consulted with the Gedolim. The upcoming month of will bring one of the busiest wedding seasons in the history of Yeshiva Spanovich, with more than 50 chasanas scheduled, Bochurim, to get married this month. Baruch Hashem, Bli and Hara. Okay, my HomeFinish will give you some shades. Now, these Bochurim are getting married, building new houses. Every single house needs new shades. Can I tell you? New shades, beautiful new shades. I know in Israel they don't sell this, but here in America at least, if you're in America, they serve the entire United States, I would say. Okay? High machine galat will come down to your place. They will give you a hassle-free service, set you up with beautiful, nice blinds and shades. My HomeFinish. Just remember, My HomeFinish for your blinds and shades services. Okay, they're 90%. They are cheaper than 90% of the competitors, and they have the best quality out there. People come back for the price, stay for the service, and never come back for the quality because they don't need to. Because it's long-lasting. Mention on Edge, you get 5 to 10% off your order. Again, mention on Edge, get 5 to 10% off your order. Call them today on 845-372-6613. That's the number for My HomeFinish for your shades and blinds. 845-372-6613. Or visit them on info@myhomefinish.com or info@myhomefinish.com for your blinds, shades, and curtains services. On the military front, the head of the Israel's Central Command, Major General Avi Blatt, announced that the army now controls 60% of the Gaza Strip. He says this move violates the current truce limit of 53%, obviously. He stated that Hamas is no longer capable of carrying out the terror infiltration like the October 7th attacks because they don't have the means to do this. That's what he says. An Israeli strike on a jeep in northwest Khan Yunis killed 2 Hamas terrorists. One was Anas Hamdan, a key member of the Shadow Unit, who guarded hostages and led the release event of Yarden Bibas. Now, a separate Israeli strike in Gaza hit a Hamas commander. The terrorist personally broke into Israel on October 7th, killing 5 people with him. Defense Minister Israel Katz also toured a huge tunnel recently found in Gaza's Shajia neighborhood. Now, he stated the neighborhood is completely destroyed. That's what he says. It's pronounced Shujaiya. Anyway, to secure future supplies, the Israeli military announced plans to build its own smart bombs that hit exact targets. They plan to build large numbers in the exact 2 years, in the next 2 years, so they don't have to rely on foreign weapons anymore. This move is part of a bigger push to make weapons locally, so the army does not have to count on other countries. Production of Israel's Arrow missile defense system has gone up by 4 times, following new supply deals with Germany. Also, Israel was due to enter a deal to buy these Apache helicopters, but the problem is the budget wasn't approved by the Knesset in time, so they lost their bid in the contract. The Israeli military launched a massive wave of airstrikes targeting 40 Hezbollah positions across southern Lebanon overnight. The strikes hit weapon storage buildings, a mosque tower in the Nabatea district, and also a rocket launcher site ready for fast attack. This comes after a rocket attack by Hezbollah earlier this morning. Basically, the rocket hit a home in where did it hit the home? In the Galilee area, wounding 3 Yidden, Hashem Yerachem, and were now basically in stable condition, Baruch Hashem. But because of this, Israeli defense leaders are calling up to 2 extra reserve groups to the northern border right now to fight them. A weapon shipment heading to Hezbollah was also found hidden inside a fuel truck. It held advanced drones that cannot be blocked by electronic defense systems. Baruch Hashem, they found it. Kosher Skinny Shot is also for you. It's there for you when you need to benefit for your life. Your life needs to have some better control over the food that you eat, the limitations of the food that you eat. The point is that when you eat food, you're never in a position where you can actually control yourself because of the amount of processed foods today with all the chemicals in it. It blocks that signal of your brain. Kosher Skinny Shot restores that signal again and tells your brain when it's done. That's why it's healthy, and it's also very good because it cures fatty liver disease. It causes so many other things that has benefits to it. It's not dangerous. The actual ingredients of it is FDA approved. The actual drug might not be, so therefore you have to ask your doctor anyway. Anyway, ask your doctor before you're doing so. So 845-456-8924. Call the number on 845-456-8924. Visit. You can also call my number on 845-671-1775. Press 5, and you can still enter the number, the draw to win the next month's raffle. A 1-year-old boy in Baltimore, sad news to tell you this, guys, but a young little boy from the Jewish community died yesterday. He was accidentally left inside a hot car. The child was named Dubi Reichman. Anyway, the temperature outside was close to 100 degrees at the time. You can imagine what happens. It's sad. It was from a well-known family in the local community. After this terrible loss, local Rabbonim set up a special gathering for women in the community to mourn, obviously, and to give them sympathy and support, obviously. But It's sad. It's sad. Nobody should blame. People like blaming. There's nothing to do. This is what Hashem wanted. But we also have to take that as a message. President Trump met with 5 Orthodox Holocaust survivors in the Oval Office on Tuesday. The group included Mrs. Blau and Mrs. Rabinowitz from Borough Park. They pushed the president to keep careful records of terrible events as the group of people who saw it happen gets smaller. During the meeting, Trump stated his government is committed to protecting the safety of Jewish people in America and around the world. A scammer took $25,000 from an elderly Jewish widow, an almuna, in Kew Garden Hills in Queens. He lied and claimed he worked for a children's charity. When the scammer returned to ask for more money, Shomrim volunteers from Queens and Far Rockaway held him down at the house. They waited until police arrived and arrested him. In Ramat Gan, a Haredi man was badly beaten at a city bus stop. A cyclist holding a beer bottle approached the man and began to shout, quote, "Haredi, what are you doing on the street? Go to Bnei Brak." The victim said he tried to walk away, but the attacker got off his bicycle and began beating him with a beer bottle. He suffered blows to his stomach and face, and the attacker even attempted to break the bottle while saying that he will come back and murder the Haredi man. This led to Ramat Gan Mayor Carmel to personally apologize and bring a cake to the victim. The mayor said, quote, "The fact that you are a resident of the neighboring city of Bnei Brak who visited our city makes the incident even more painful and upsetting." I wonder who this guy was. But the point is, I want to just tell you something. Yidden are facing threats from all over. Sometimes these people could be hateful towards Haredim. They hate the Jews. Hating Jews is very easy for the world to do. Very easy thing. Small minority. We have the only place that, I would say Israel's as tiny as New Jersey is tiny, and it obviously goes to show how much sinner there is on the world. But at the same time, sinner also comes from within. Sin is chinam. This is why the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed. These times are reminders for us to wake up a little bit, and that's why I put out this beautiful program that's going to be aired on Tisha B'Av to show you what people do in our community to turn over that sinner into a harbor, because they come from within. And because they come from within, you have to wake up these sparks. These people don't want to hate. They don't know. They just don't know. They're taught what the social media tells them. It's just so sad. At the same time, it's so heartbreaking, heartwarming to see the results of this beautiful, beautiful people that I had here on my show. Unbelievable people. A group of people in Israel that do this. That it's their mission of life. That's what they do. To turn over the hate into love. This is what they do. In Amsterdam, Yidden are facing a new wave of threats. A large number of stickers were put up across the city calling to hang Zionists. Hate against Yidden in the Netherlands has jumped since October 7th. Pro-Palestinian marches often feature chants calling for violence against the community. Over in Ireland, a tech event in Dublin, Ireland, was cancelled just the day before it was set to happen. The group received threats from pro-Palestinian protesters. The computer coding meetup was run by a group called Python Ireland, where they're expecting about 200 people at the offices of a software company called MongoDB. Leaders finally cancelled the gathering after protesters targeted the event, claiming it had links to Zionist spies. A long-time teleprompter reader for President Trump has been put on unpaid leave. This comes during the federal investigation into cheating the stock market. Investigators say Gabriel Perez used his early knowledge of the president's planned speeches, obviously. He used that secret information to place bets on a prediction website called Kalshi. Perez is accused of betting on the exact words and phrases Trump was scheduled to say. He made more than $100,000 from the trades. Following this suspension, the president recently took the stage without him. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson is setting up an early vote next week on short-term money bill to keep the government open. He expects it to fail so he can push for a bigger September deal containing $67 billion for the military. On the other hand, Senator John Fetterman has warned that he will leave the Democratic Party if it becomes an anti-Israeli party. This follows a vote where 100 House Democrats voted to cut out aid to Israel. Obviously it failed. Down in Texas, at least 2 people are dead now after severe flash floods swept through the Texas Hill Country. The water flooded homes, trapped residents across central and southwestern Texas. Kerr County and the city of Kerrville were hit especially hard by the flooding. Emergency workers have rescued more than 200 people from the water. Authorities say the flash flood emergency is still active and the water continues to threaten the area. Do you remember 2 years ago or something like that, there was similar flooding? I think it was last year actually, where little kids from camps died in terrible, severe flash flooding. It was terrible like that, but let's hope it's not the same case here. In New York, the Jewish community in Sheepshead Bay is fighting a city plan to move up to 110 people with criminal records into a local family homeless shelter on Emmons Avenue. Councilwoman and Assemblyman Kalman Yeager are organizing a Thursday afternoon protest right outside the location. Andy Burnham is now official leader of Britain's governing party. He is the Prime Minister now. He is set to replace Keir Starmer as Britain's Prime Minister earlier next week. At a special conference in London, Burnham was elected as Labour's next leader with 379 votes. Over in Malaysia, the government of Malaysia says it will kick out any Israelis found inside the country. This announcement was made during an active look in the actual local tech business. Malaysia has no official working relationship with Israel. Anyone holding an Israeli passport is already blocked from entering without special government permission. Can you imagine how far this has gone? In Montreal, police have caught 2 thieves. You remember the story? Who stole stramlich van Yidden on Friday night? They drove through the Outermount neighborhood to snatch stramlich off people's heads, young men, and they are now facing court dates in 2027 for this. Official documents show that the US only currently buys 50,000 drones per year and produces about 300,000 a year. I don't think that this is true. Yeah, it looks like that's the truth. But now it plans to increase that number to anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million, obviously. In contrast, Ukraine actually makes 10 million drones per year and aims to double that with the help of other countries. Ironically, the US is one of those who are helping Ukraine. Speaking of Ukraine, their drones struck 6 Russian oil ships in the Black Sea right off the coast of Crimea over the past few hours. The hits were caught on 5 cameras set up along the local beaches, especially. Ukrainian President Zelensky just fired his defense minister, Fedorov. He's called Mikhailo Fedorov, sparking street protests in the capital city of Kiev. Zelensky announced the move on Sunday as part of a larger plan to change his government leaders. He removed the popular official who built Ukraine's military drone program. The UK is providing around 300 million euros to help Ukraine buy 60 new JAS-39 Gripen E-fighter jets from Sweden. The funding is part of a larger British aid package. UK companies actually manufacture over 30% of the parts of every Gripen plane. Sure, let's talk about the next thing. Wise Capital Group is there for you if you need to borrow some money. We still have some news, by the way. 718-831-2168 for your loans. Arrive Express for your taxi services, 845-622-1111 or 845-254-1111. You can download the app, arrivemuncie.com, or you can now also, they have a new thing in the whole of New York City, Rive, R-Y-V-E. Download the app. Okay. Protobyte, 347-354-1237. Now with the AI race, you know, everyone needs to be ahead. And ahead of the game is only working on your own, but then you waste your money and time. So you can call Protobyte. They have the advanced capabilities with AI, with everything, to build you the best software and in no time. 347-354-1237. A company in San Francisco wants to build an all-American robot super soldier. Sankit Pathak and his new company, Foundation Future Industries, plans to start giving its robots the ability to kill soon. Unbelievable. They're making machines, AI, to kill. He did not share specific details, but said, quote, "We have some kinetic things we're exploring." The word kinetic usually means something that could fire. Sorry, I'm just making sure I've got the right information here. Yeah, simply put, it's about adding weapons to these robots, along with fighting. The company says its robots could also help with moving supplies, scouting, and checking dangerous areas, which is very important as well. The US military has wanted human-like robots for a very long time now. Military research groups paid for big robot contests between 2012 and 2015 for people like this to produce exactly that. The Army also has a program called X-Tech Humanoids, which pays to develop technology for robot soldiers. The hope is that these human-like robots could do many, many jobs that human soldiers do right now. The war in Ukraine has become a testing ground for many of these new machines. Foundation says it has already tested its robot and the Phantom Mk1 with Ukrainian troops together. And finally, Dean Ball, the head of the new strategy at OpenAI, posted on X that he started studying Gemara. He says it will help him figure out rules for AI. But later on, he added that the platform has way more Jew haters than he thought. Verstehst? In other words, the Gemara, the Torah, helps everyone do everything. This is truth. The truth is always in the Torah. You can find everything in the Torah. These people don't realize it. By opening up the Gemara, it's not even theirs to open. And then, yeah, I'm actually saying it's not theirs because they didn't accept it. You know, when you accept something, you choose something, it's yours. You didn't choose it. You can't just open up a Torah and decide like you want to use it now. Yeah, whatever. It's available online. It's translated, and they could actually study it. So he plans to use the Gemara for his purposes to be able to build AI better, make it more smarter. Imagine that. And then he realizes, after learning the Gemara, seeing how much hate the Jews have on X. Okay, that's it for today. Have a lovely Shabbos. Shabbos Chazon. Chazon is the vision of the Ge'ilah. And maybe we see the Ge'ilah in our times, speedily in our times.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish 24, provided to you by The Click.